When you go for an interview, interviewer might start with some easy questions, and if you are unable to answer these easy questions, that does not create a very good impression. In this video, I am going to tell you 9 SQL questions that you must prepare before going for the interview so that your interview is not spoiled in those easy questions. Let's start without any delay. So guys, we are not going to only see the theoretical parts, we are going to see the practical aspects as well. Okay, and here are some of the questions. For example, they will check you on constraints and keys. Okay, so we will see this in MySQL workbench. We will see subqueries, we will see joins and types, we will see aggregate functions. Most important, we will see 5 or 6 different queries that you can expect in any SQL interview. These are some famous queries for interviews. Okay, first of all, what are constraints and keys? Let me tell you in theory, then I will show you there. Okay, suppose you are creating an employee table. Okay, in this employee table you are having employee ID, you are having, let's say, first name, and you are having, let's say, last name. Okay, so I do not want first name to be blank in my table anytime. So what I can say is a constraint on first name, and I can name this constraint as not null, which means this can never be blank. If somebody wants to insert a blank in first name, it is not allowed. Okay, similarly, if I want to make this ID as my primary key, so what is a primary key? Primary key is basically a unique identifier for every record in that table. If I want to make this ID as primary key, I will say constraint is primary key here. Now talking of keys, there are different types of keys. One is primary key, other is foreign key. There can be composite keys. Many types of keys are there. You can read more about that. But constraints and some keys, let's see here. So I'm going to my database and I'm just doing on department table. This is how my department table looks like. Okay, so I have my ID, I have department name, department code, insert date, etc. Okay, now if I go and see the table creation statement, here you can see, guys, here ID is a primary key. See here, PK is ticked. PK is ticked means it's a primary key. Now if you come to a department, you will see that every row has a unique identifier 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this is a primary key, okay, for department table. What is other constant? Name cannot be null. So this is a not null constraint. You see here, not null. So if I try to insert name, where is the department name? This one. Okay, if I try to insert a blank value here, it will not take. So that's the example I was giving you. Similarly, there are different type of constraints. So insert date cannot be blank, updated, and this column deleted flag cannot be blank, and this is a primary key. So this way, every table will have some primary keys and some constraints. What is the funda? I told you in practical, and you can check in these tables also. So have the high level knowledge that will help you. What is the second concept here, guys? Subqueries. So subquery is basically query inside a query. For example, if I'm writing here select, okay, select EMP ID from, okay, and then inside this, I can write one more select statement. I can write one more select statement. Okay, this what I write inside this parenthesis becomes this subquery. Subqueries means query inside the query. What is the use of this? I will show you when I explain you some frequently asked queries. Okay, and we have to understand joins and its type. So you have to basically understand what are the multiple types of joins. For example, if A is my left table and B is my right table, then what happens in, let's say, left outer join will take this data. What happens in right outer join will take this data. What happens in inner join will take this data. Apart from that, what happens in self join, what happens in full outer join, you can read little bit about that. In my last video, I had shown you proper example of how the joins work. Okay, the link is here, I'll give in description as well. You can see that video, it's very useful. So you should at least revise or brush up the concept of join before going for the interview. Fine. Then comes use of aggregate function. So aggregate function is basically any types of function. For example, max, for example, sum, for example, count, for example, min, for example, all these functions, right? So suppose in department somebody asks you, give me the department name where maximum number of employees are there. So we will need a group by function. Okay. Similarly, this type of example also we did in the last class. Okay. So these are little bit theories which you should brush up. Now let's go and see some of the frequently asked queries, guys. Very, very important, very, very interesting. Okay. First of all, I want to show you one table that I have created for demo purpose. This is my table. In this table, I have employee first name, last name, and salary. Okay, just 3 columns. Now, in an interview, somebody can tell you, give me the duplicate rows in this table. Okay, duplicate rows in this table. Give me a SQL query that can give duplicate rows in this table. So what you have to do is you have to group by on all the columns and take the count. How? See here. Select first name, last name, salary. There are these 3 columns. Okay. Count star means I am counting from the same table which I showed you now. So let me run this query. If I run this query, I will see no rows are returning. Why no rows are returning? Because there is no duplicate data in this table. Okay. First name, last name, salary, and in this combination, what is the count? So this is a very famous interview question, guys. Find duplicate rows in the table. Remember, do a group by on all the columns, take a count, and in the end, give a condition saying having count star greater than 1. Okay, this is query number 1. Query number 2 is find second highest salary from employee table. Okay, the same table I will use. So what is my table? This table, employee detail table. Now for demonstration purpose, let us order by in salary. Okay, and DSC, because I want to see maximum on the top, then second, then third. Okay. So if I do this, you can see the second highest salary is this Slavian peak 127238, this one. Okay. So what I'm doing here, if you see, second first name, last name, salary from sample staff, order by salary, and this last line is very, very crucial. Limit 1 1. In this limit 1 1, what I'm saying is come here and from which row it should start taking. So first row it will ignore. After first row it will start taking. And how many rows? 1 rows only, because I want the second highest salary. Understand this, guys. If I say 1 1 means after first row it will start taking. Okay. And how many rows it will take? 1. Suppose I want to take third highest salary. So first of all, run this query and see what the result is coming. 1 1. See, Slavian peak 127238. This is the same as this table. Suppose I want the third highest salary. So I will go here and say, take the record, leave the first 2 rows and take the next row. I'm just changing first 1 to 2. So third highest salary should be given to me. Nahdin Worker 127. Nahdin Worker 127. Okay. This is the another important SQL query. You should remember, people ask this. Okay. Order by descending order, and remember how these numbers work. Fine. Let's come to the next one. So guys, if you are liking the videos on Unfold Data Science, please don't forget to press the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you receive when I come online, you receive notification on when I am releasing a new video, you receive notification on all this stuff happening on Unfold Data Science. Don't forget to press the like button if you are liking the video so far. Find the last 3 records from a table. Now guys, I was talking about primary key. Okay, so imagine if their primary key in this department table. Here you remember there was a primary key in this department table. So this primary key will always keep on auto incrementing. You see here auto increment is checked 1. So if somebody tells you find the last 3 records from a table, you can just short on this ID and take the last 3 records. For example, if I run this query, you will see that last 3 records are sales, research, and quality management. See here, sales, research, and quality management. So what I have done here, I have shorted on ID column. Okay, because I know ID is my primary key. So obviously it will auto increment. On this auto increment, I have shorted and taken the first 3 one by limit clause. So if you see here, limit 3, another important question for interview. Next important question is find first and last record from a table. So here I'm using a subquery. If you remember, I explained you subquery concept. So how will you find first record? Simply
ID is the primary key, so minimum of ID will be your first record, maximum of ID will be your last record. So if I run this, I'm saying select star from department where ID is equal to minimum of ID. So which record it will give? First record, guys. See here, ID is equal to 1, customer service. I'm playing on ID because I know ID is my primary key. Second star, select star where it is maximum. So I'm playing on again ID. This will give my last record. Okay. This is again an important interview question. What you do, you take the primary key, you compare with the mean and max. Fine. First and last record from a table. And what is the next one? I think we have finished all the queries. So if you see here, we have covered how many queries? 2 queries, 3, 4, 5, 6 queries we have covered. Okay. And in theory, we have covered few things. This is a very simple demo of what are the things you should practice or you should brush up before going for the interview in SQL. It will happen in like 15-20 minutes. Brush up on subqueries, joins, okay, constraints and keys, and some of the frequently asked queries. So please go ahead and press the like button, guys. I'll see you all in the next video. Wherever you are, stay safe and take care.